We have some absolutely wild news out of Amazon. They've released 4 new AI text models. They've released an image model. They've released a video model. So much stuff. We're going to be diving into all of this. All of this is happening at Amazon's recent conference, their big AWS conference that they host every single year. We'll be breaking down everything that is going on at the conference and everything that they have been announcing. Their light model, their pro model, their premium. Amazon Nova is here, and I'm just excited about it. You probably tell I'm excited about it, but I'm going to break down what these are actually capable of. Before we get into the podcast, I wanted to say, if you've ever thought of starting your own podcast, I have a course I just launched talking about how I went from 0 to 4 million downloads, how I was able to get my YouTube plaque, and I cover all of everything that I learned in there. And for this week only, for Cyber Monday week, I have it at a 50% discount. So if you've ever thought of starting a podcast, whether that's to grow your own brand, to grow your own business, to get users, to network with really incredible people, I was able to have one of the co-founders of Oculus on my show and network with him, and he invited me over to his house for a special movie premiere someone made about him. Amazing experiences that I would never have had without doing a podcast. So if you've ever thought of starting a podcast, this is the week to do it because it's Cyber Monday and I never do this cheap of a discount, but the course is 50% off. So you can go get it, link in the description, and use the code, all caps, one word, Black Friday. And I'll also link that in the show notes as well. So go check it out. All right, back to Amazon. Amazon's family of models are all called Nova, right? So this is what they're calling them all. This is really interesting because just last week I was roasting Amazon. I was integrating some different AI APIs into a software project I have, and I'm like, what does Amazon have again? And I went and looked at their AWS Bedrock, which is their platform that they have all this on, and there was like nothing. The models were pretty wimpy. They had like some like Llama, maybe Mistral on there, Anthropic, but like stuff you get other places and whatever. There was nothing like super special or custom. So I'm super excited for this big announcement. Now, here's the 4 text models they have. They have Micro, Lite, Pro, and Premier. Micro, Lite, and Pro are all available today for any AWS customers. So I'm probably going to start integrating those immediately. That's exciting. Premier, which is probably like their ChatGPT 4.0 competitor, I'm assuming, is going to launch in early 2025. So we're going to have to wait probably 3 to 4 months, I'd say, before we actually get that. When they say early, I hope that means Q1. It's hard to say. But yeah, Amazon CEO Andy Jassy was essentially talking it up and saying it's going to come out at the beginning of the year. So in addition to all of that, they also have a model called Nova Canvas. This is their image generation model. And they have a video generation model called Nova Reel. Both of those launched at AWS today. So this is actually really exciting and interesting. I'll be super curious because we have OpenAI that revealed, OpenAI's video generator Sora, way earlier in the year, and we have yet to see anything tangible that we could actually use, play with this thing. And so I would be blown away if you have a company like Amazon, who it seemed like was kind of behind in this game, jumping ahead and actually, putting out a video model before even OpenAI does, because OpenAI, I don't know, just took so long to test it or red team it or safety protocol it, like whatever they're doing to take forever to make this video generation thing come out. So that's really interesting to me. What's really interesting is the different text models are essentially different based off of their capabilities and sizes. We see this for most of the big companies. You see like OpenAI's got their mini models like GPT-4o, GPT-4o mini, which essentially is smaller models or faster models. You see the same thing with Anthropic with their Haiku and their Opus and their Sonnet, right? They have different models, different tiers that do different things. And even Google with their Google Gemini Pro and Gemini Lite. So this seems to be pretty much industry standard what they're doing here. 4 different models. I like that. Personally, like OpenAI is kind of gangster with really 2 main models. I guess they have O1 Preview, so it's kind of 3, but it's kind of like its own different model. So I guess, yeah. Okay, you can say OpenAI's got like 3 models. Google only has 2. They don't really have an answer to ChatGPT's O1 Preview or I guess Opus from Anthropic. But that is going to probably be more like what Premiere is coming from them, which we're not getting yet. So Pro is going to be good. Micro is, I guess, their smallest. It can only take in text and output text. That's all it can do. It's really, really fast, and it's able to essentially process text and give you the questions the quickest. Lite, which is their next one, it can process image, videos, and text. And actually, that's pretty cool that it can do video. Not a lot of AI models, period, can do that. So even for their like let's say they have like 4 levels and their second level is already doing video, I'm impressed with that. It does it pretty quickly. Pro then has the best combination of accuracy, speed, and cost. So what's kind of cool about that is a lot of times with these models, it's not just about what it can do, but it's like how much it costs. So you have, for example, like ChatGPT's o1 preview, which is like, wow, this thing's better. I was literally using it this morning, and it would like annoy me when I had to go down to the GPT-4o because the responses just didn't feel as good. But what you have to know about o1 preview is like, while it probably feels like 20% better, maybe 25% better, it cost 5 times as much money. So if something costs you $1, it's going to cost you on GPT-4o, for example, which is great. It's going to cost you $6 on o1 preview. So it is a lot more expensive, and you really have to balance that cost. It looks like what AWS is doing with their Pro model here is balancing that. And then we have Premiere, which again is not live, but it's apparently their most capable model. It's designed for really complex workloads. I'm assuming if it's anything like they say, it's going to be like an o1 preview competitor, which would be phenomenal. If, this is their first time really putting out these models, so you also could imagine that it's going to be more like GPT-4o, which I think would already honestly be amazing. Now, the tricky bit is this all just got announced today, so we haven't seen all of these models run through the benchmarks, run through the testing. Amazon, of course, is going to talk up their own book and say, these are amazing, they're the best in the world, they're great. But until we actually see these models run through a benchmark testing against all of the other models, we're not really going to have an accurate assumption. So I'll definitely be making a follow-up video probably in the next week saying just how each of these stack up when you're comparing them on the benchmarks. So, but I mean, we got to break the news because this is really cool. All of these are available in AWS Bedrock right now, which is Amazon's AI development platform, where they can be fine-tuned and distilled for improved speed and lower cost, which is really, really cool because when you fine-tune a model, you definitely can save a ton of money. And yeah, that's fantastic. So this is what they said about it. The CEO said, we've optimized these models to work with proprietary systems and APIs. Okay, please, developers, let's hear it. Let's get a round of applause that this is an API, not just a random tool that consumers can use. And this is what AWS is all about, right? So that makes perfect sense. But APIs, so that you can do multiple orchestrated automatic steps, agent behavior much more easily with these models. So I think they're very compelling. I think what's impressive to me here is, of course, Amazon has the distribution of AWS. Everyone's sites and software are running on AWS. And so they have a ton of people there. If they can just make some good models that are already built in, that's really easy to integrate, I think Amazon's going to be a big winner. What I think is impressive here is right in that quote that I was giving you, he was talking about the fact that these are essentially, they say they're optimized to do multiple orchestrated automatic steps and agent behavior. So they're really focusing on the next wave of AI, which is agents. That is exciting to me. All right, let's get into what I know everybody is wondering about, which is the video and image models. This is cool stuff, right? So Canvas and Reels, this is them really getting into generative AI. Canvas essentially lets you generate and edit images using prompts. So you can imagine something like some of the Adobe products where it's not just like, hey, generate this thing. It's like, okay, now change this, change that. Like you're actually editing the image with a prompt, which is kind of cool. There's a bunch of different controls for the edited images. You have color schemes, you have layouts. So there's some cool stuff there. And I'm sure they'll be adding more in the future. Reel, which is their video one, is a little bit more ambitious of both of these, obviously, right? There's a tons of image models. We have very few actual video models, so it seems like they're doing something really impressive. This essentially creates videos that can be up to 6 seconds in length. So we're actually seeing longer videos from different models, but I mean, come on, they're beating OpenAI to this. I'm not going to give them any criticism on the 6-second length. They're doing this from a prompt. You can essentially adjust the camera motion to generate videos that pan. You can do a 360-degree rotation. You can do zoom. That is what's cool, is these models have to really understand physics to not just kind of like animate a picture and make it move, but you can actually do the camera motion effects. This is what makes these things really realistic. You tell it, okay, there's a woman walking along the beach with a red hat on. So sure, anyone could do that. But now it's like, and have the camera pan in, zoom, and follow her and move past her. Like those motions really make this thing, they're going to make video look incredible. So Reel is currently limited to the 6 seconds. Yeah, I know that's annoying, but they did say that a version that could generate 2-minute long videos is coming soon. So the fact that that's on their roadmap and they're already talking about this in the big launch announcement is very exciting for me. I think at the end of the day, you need those 2-minute clips to really make videos that are consistent and yeah, I don't know. So I think that's phenomenal. I'm really excited about that. Of course, CEO Jesse really wanted to point out that both Canvas and Reels have built-in controls for responsibility. He said they're trying to limit the generation of harmful content. All of that's great. I'd be also curious to see if they're going to run into the same problem that like Google ran into when they tried to make everybody in a Google generated image diverse, and then that led to them making black Nazis, which was very controversial for being historically inaccurate and all sorts of reasons people were offended. So I'd be curious to see what the issues they might run into there are. For vendors, I think a lot of them are really excited. So here's the big thing that a lot of people are concerned about. They're like, hey, like, what'd you train your data on, right? This is always the question with these AI and image models, AI or image and video models. And Amazon has been pretty tight-lipped about it. They haven't exactly said exactly like what they use to train these models off of. And there's a couple reasons. Obviously, lawsuits, like if they went and just, let's say, grabbed a whole bunch of videos off of YouTube, they could get sued. So no one ever tells where they get their training data from. One thing that I will say that could be interesting about Amazon is, they said essentially that they used it from proprietary and licensed data sets. So, their own, and they went and got licenses. They didn't really elaborate. And like, you kind of have to take their word for it because it's hard to actually know. And it's a pretty tight-lipped secret. So the thing that you also have to think about, though, is that Amazon for the last 2 years has been doing something very, very interesting. The first one is they have a program called the Amazon Influencer Program. I've talked about this before on my podcast, AI Hustle, because my wife joined this program like a year ago, and they had this big incentive program. And essentially, you're just making videos. Like you just take out your phone and you just make a little video of some sort of object in your house, right? So if you have like some sort of houseplant, you take a video and you're like, I love this houseplant. It looks super realistic. It's super cute. It looks great for decor. And you kind of show it in your house. It's 10 to 30 seconds to 2-minute kind of videos. They're pretty short, right? You post those videos to Amazon. They get added to the product page for that product. And if anyone watches that video and buys it, you get like some sort of commission. So my wife did it. They have a bunch of incentive programs for making videos. We ended up making like $12,000 one month because they were paying like, I think like $25 per video we made. So just made like a ton of videos. So I think over the course of, I guess I would say like the last maybe year that my wife has had that account, she's probably made 1,000, maybe 2,000 videos. They don't take very long, and she gets paid for, sometimes paid for each one. Anyways, the reason I bring this up, that is going to be, I guarantee you, the data set that Amazon is using for their videos, right? They literally have every product on the planet, almost, not really, but they then incentivize random people to make 2-minute videos of every single product on the planet. So they have millions and millions, hundreds of millions of videos for all of these products that they ran for that last year. And I guarantee in the terms of service, when you make those videos, they're going to say, hey, if you upload them to our platform, we can use them for training and blah, 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 blah. So that's the number one data set they think they use for videos without having to go to YouTube, like is pretty smart. And they also had a lot of influencers just upload their YouTube videos directly there because they're like, you can monetize it. You can make a commission from it. And then it's genius because they don't have to go scrape YouTube if everyone's just uploading their stuff there. And those videos have like people talking with their faces. They have, point of view photos, videos of just stuff. So anyways, awesome data set. That's definitely where they grabbed the video. For the images, you can also imagine every single Amazon product listing has dozens of images and there's millions of product listings. So they just grabbed all the product listing images, and I guarantee you they got tons of content there. So very smart on Amazon's part. And you got to imagine when a company is this big, right? They have the data sets for all of this data. They have the distribution with AWS, train a model. And I think this is going to be a home run for Amazon. I'd be very surprised if they weren't able to really crush it here. So what is next for Nova? What's Amazon doing next? Jassy, the CEO, Amazon's CEO, said that they are working on both a speech-to-speech model. So that's kind of cool, right? The talking model that you see from OpenAI that's been kind of popular. And then they said they'll also make a speech input and output, a transformed version of it. So you can talk and transform it. I'd be curious if they're talking about just like, I don't know, making your audio better, because they actually have a tool called Adobe Audio Enhancer, which I've been using literally for the last year. I upload podcasts to it. Sometimes if these mics are fantastic that I'm currently recording on it, but sometimes if I have like a mic and a cable's a little loose, there's a glitch, or I interview someone and their microphone wasn't very good, I throw it into Adobe Audio Enhancer and it sounds like I'm recording in a studio with a professional, Shure SM7B microphone like this one. So the reason I bring that up is because they already have that, and I'd be curious to see what they mean by their speech input and output version. I guess that one I was referencing is like usually just an audio file, so maybe they were doing one that's live, or maybe what I think would be cool is if it was singing. They could do a musical one, something like Suno AI. That'd be pretty cool. I mean, yeah, that'd be phenomenal. You see videos, or you see all these tools where they're like cloning your voice already to just, like HeyGen or whatever, it clones your voice, or 11 Labs, they clone your voice. It'd be pretty cool if it could clone your voice and then make you sing when everyone loved to be a famous singer. That'd be awesome. Any song you like, me personally, who's not an incredible singer, I would say, that'd be fun. I'd love to make it me singing songs. So that'd be cool. Anyways, the other thing they're doing is an any to any model. That's going to be around mid next year. So that's just pretty much what ChatGPT does, where you say anything, it knows that you're talking about video, image, text, audio, whatever. So that's going to be pretty cool. And of course, I say that, but OpenAI doesn't have that launched. It's what they're working on. They have that in some versions where they can do, the images and text and all that kind of stuff. So what he said is you'll be able to input text, speech, images, and video, and output text, speech, images, and video. This is the future of how frontier models are going to be built and consumed. All right, I am absolutely excited about this. I think this is going to be seriously game-changing. Like, Amazon has entered the chat, like, officially. I think the next big one that we're waiting for in tech is probably Apple, and maybe we have to wait another year and a half before we get anything serious out of them. So Amazon is honestly the best we're going to get for a while, and this is going to be exciting. This is going to put a serious competition for Microsoft, for Anthropic, for OpenAI, and my opinion is the more competition in the market, the better. Amazon has billions of dollars. AWS has billions of dollars and all the training stuff. And in addition, AWS just invested another $4 billion into Anthropic, this number 2 AI company essentially. And they said, look, we're going to give you the $4 billion. You have to train all of your AI models on Amazon silicone chips. Why that's important is because Anthropic said, no, we usually like using NVIDIA. NVIDIA is the best. And they're like, nope, you have to use us if we're going to give you the $4 billion. So NVIDIA said, okay, that's too much money to say no. But what that's going to force Anthropic to do is exactly what it forced OpenAI to do with Microsoft. Microsoft did the same deal with OpenAI like 2 years earlier. And it forced OpenAI to essentially work with the Microsoft Azure cloud team to make sure that all of their GPUs, all of their hardware, everything was set up to essentially optimize to train these AI models. Essentially what they got was, custom one-on-one work with, the top AI minds over at OpenAI. They optimized, and now a lot of people are using Microsoft Azure for training AI models because they really cracked the code with OpenAI. Amazon's trying to do the exact same thing with AWS and Anthropic, and I think they're going to be successful doing that because it's a lot of money, and Anthropic is essentially going to give them all the data, all the tools, all the IP really to train. And I almost wonder if it's at some point going to be more valuable for them to have cracked that and have that integrated in AWS than anything they ever gave Anthropic. So really excited to see where this goes. Amazon has entered the chat and is also competing directly with Anthropic, who they've now given $8 billion to. Imagine giving $8 billion to a company and now saying, and we're also going to compete with you at the same time. It's exactly what Microsoft's doing, so it's no shocker. I'm really curious when Apple's jumping into this, how they're going to play. And Google, of course, is kind of already doing this as well. But I don't know. I have high hopes for Amazon, so we'll see how it goes. Anyways, if you enjoyed the episode today, if you learned anything, I would really appreciate a review. And also, as I mentioned, if you've ever wanted to start your own podcast, make sure to go and get my podcasting course. Link in the description. It's how I got my first 4 million downloads, how I grew my YouTube channel, everything that I did from planning to editing to getting amazing guests on the show is all in this course. So I would love for you to take it. Let me know what you think. And for Cyber Monday, it's 50% off. So go check it out and have a fantastic rest of your day.